Welcome to Level 5, Proving the Pythagorean Theorem. Now this is when things start to get interesting. Now before I get started explaining the Pythagorean Theorem, I want you guys to go to a different YouTube video and watch this. It's almost 10 minutes long, but it's pretty interesting, and you get to learn a bit of a backstory about the guy that came up with this theorem. So the title of the YouTube video is What Was Up with Pythagoras, and I'll add a link to the video in the comments below. And there are 3 questions that I want you to write down the answers to, or if you want to, just come and share with me when you come and challenge this level. But I do expect you to show me these answers when you challenge level 5. So it might be worth pausing this video just to write them down and then answer them as you're watching the What Was Up with Pythagoras video. So the 3 questions are: was there a year 0? Why or why not? Why did Pythagoras struggle with finding the square root of 2? And there's a hint, are decimals involved? And the third question is: what did Pythagoras have an abnormal fear of? So make sure you stop watching this video now and go ahead and watch that one and answer those questions, and then come back to continue watching this video afterwards. Okay, so what I'm going to do is kind of explain to you what the Pythagorean theorem is, because I know that the girl from that video sometimes spoke pretty quickly and it could be a little confusing, so I'm going to try to explain as well. Okay, so Pythagoras came up with the discovery that when you have a right triangle, and remember, a right triangle is a triangle with a 90-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle is labeled with that little square thing there. So he found out that there's a relationship between the 3 sides of a right angle triangle. Specifically, if we draw a square coming out from each side of the triangle. So here is one side, here is another side, and finally the third side. He realized that there is a pattern, no matter what size or what type of right triangle. He found out that if you add the area of this triangle plus the area of this triangle, you will always get the area of this third triangle. Now, how does this tie into the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared? Well, if you think about it, what they're doing is labeling the sides of the triangle using the letters A, B, and C. In this triangle I've drawn, A would be the length of this side of the triangle, B would be the blue side, and C would be the length of this longer side, which is known as the hypotenuse. Now, what does A squared mean? Well, we know that something squared means times itself. So if we multiplied A times A, we would get the area of this square. B squared would be the area of this square. And finally, C squared would be the area of this square. So hopefully that makes sense now that you understand where this equation comes from. If you take the area of this square plus the area of this square, A squared plus B squared, you would get the area of this square, which is C squared. Now, what you're going to be doing to pass level 5 is not a challenge like in front of the class, but what you're going to be doing is proving this theorem on the handout using grid paper. And hopefully that will give you a better understanding of what this theorem is all about. Okay, so use your imagination and pretend that this is the grid paper that I've given you on the handout. And what you're going to be doing on your paper is drawing a triangle that has a base length of 8 and a height of 6. For myself, I'm going to do one that's a bit smaller just because I don't have a ton of space. I'm going to be drawing a triangle that has a base length of 3, so there's 3 squares there, and a height of 4, just like that. And please make sure you remember to use a ruler at all times. Oh, and a pencil, because you might make a mistake. Okay, so after you draw your triangle, remember yours is going to be with a base length of 6 and a height of 8, your next step is to draw two squares that come out of the bottom and the left side of your triangle. So for me, mine is going to be a 3 by 3 on the bottom here, and I'm going to color it in. And on the left side, it's going to be a 4 by 4 square. For you, it would be 8 by 8. I'm going to color that in with a different color. Now finally, you're going to draw another square coming out of the hypotenuse. That's this longer side of the triangle. And this is the toughest part because you need to actually make sure that these are 90-degree angles for it to be a perfect square. And you also want to make sure that the length of this square, the lengths of all sides are the same. So make sure you grab a ruler. I think if you use inches on your handout, you get this to being 1.5 inches, so do the same thing here. And then when you're done, you should have a nice bigger triangle over here, or sorry, square over here. And then finally, what you're going to do to prove the Pythagorean theorem is you're going to cut out these two smaller squares very carefully, and then you're going to try and make them fit perfectly into this bigger square. Obviously, you'll need to do a bit of cutting to make that work, but hopefully, if you do everything right, they should fit perfectly. And then when you're done that, just tape or glue them into position. And then when you're done that, you can come and show me to pass level 5. And make sure you're ready to explain to me why this proves a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I went over that earlier in the video, so hopefully you remember that. Yeah, that's it for this video. Good luck.